This class is all about our core, hips, and lower back. We're going to soften and strengthen, and most importantly, re-familiarize ourselves with the structures that support our lumbar spine so that we can come out of any discomfort and move a little bit more effectively and easily. So we'll start onto our backs. Come on down. You can bend your knees, lay your upper back, middle back, and lower back down to the earth. And keep your knees bent so that the soles of your feet land. And you can go ahead and let your knees fall in towards one another. Let your palms rest onto your belly so that your pinkies lie on your hip bones and your thumbs rest onto your lowest, most palpable ribs. And then allow the space in between your lowest rib bones and your hip bones, so your belly, to get really soft and sweet. And imagine that the palms of your hands are like attractors of the breath. So even though, of course, the breath is just moving in and out of the lungs, there's lots of musculature that initiates the breath, that lives in the abdomen, initiates the breath and initiates the exhalation. So as you inhale, you should feel the belly rise and expand. And as you exhale, you should feel the front of your belly drop down towards the ground. And if you don't feel this, then maybe the work today is just to consciously soften what you can soften. Keep breathing like this, and just know that it's kind of a normal tendency, especially if you're experiencing a little bit of stress and anxiety, for the belly to get a little bit rigid and to not move as freely and as dynamically as it naturally does. And so rather than having this be like another thing to fix, you might just shift your perspective for now to remember that this is your body doing its due diligence to keep you safe. The abdominal muscles contract so that the abdominal organs are protected. And it doesn't matter if we're feeling stress from like a bear chasing us, or from a global pandemic, or from a passive aggressive email. Stress is stress in the body. And so our body responds the same. And sometimes just being aware of that pattern or of that tendency, of that autonomic response of the body, just being aware of it, maybe we can start to have a little bit more say in it. So consciously relax your belly as much as you can relax your belly, and start to invite your breath here. Without any force or strain on the inhale or the exhale or the transition in between. Begin to deepen your breath. And as you breathe, invite your attention into the back of your body, so belly's rising and falling. But what about the back of these ribs? The back of our body? Can you stretch the lungs and stretch the breath into these kind of caverns and caves that get really, really tense and taut without our conscious softening? And let's meet up with a full breath in through the nose. And then let a breath go out from your lips. And then right now your feet are wide and your knees are in. So start to walk your feet in and point your knees straight up towards the ceiling so that your feet are more parallel with the long edges of your mat and your knees are in that same alignment. And then keep your hands where they are, pinky fingers on your hip bones and thumbs on your lowest rib bones. Then as you inhale, press your butt down and press your upper back down so that the space between your pinkies and your thumbs expands. It's almost like a cow pose on your back. Stretch the belly, lift the chest, press your shoulder blades down, press your butt down. And then as you exhale, reverse that motion. So like iron your spine down towards the ground. Your tailbone angles forward and up between your kneecaps. And then you should feel something like elongation through your lower back as the space between your pinky fingers and your thumbs starts to come a little bit closer and the abdominals contract just passively from this movement. And then we move like that on the breath as you inhale, dig down into your tailbone, into your shoulder blade bones, and the belly lifts and the chest opens. And then as you exhale, we reverse that, close off the front body. Try to keep it just in the abdominals so that your chest doesn't constrict and the tailbone ripples forward between the kneecaps. Hips are staying down and the upper back is broadening. And then just move like this. So you press your hips down to lift your belly up, chest airs out, and the shoulder blades press down as you breathe in. And then just one more time as you exhale, roll your tail down towards the ground and then up and in between your kneecaps so that your lower back and your mid back kind of gets flush to the ground. And then keep all of that. Bring your mind's eye, keep breathing, and bring your mind's eye to the flexors of your hips and see if you can consciously soften them as much as you can soften them, like the front pockets if you were wearing jeans. Let those go soft. Keep breathing with this rounded low back position so that your spine gets a little bit of traction without even moving. It's just the breath doing it. And take one more deep breath in. And then this time as you breathe out, press down into the soles of your feet, big toe mound, little toe mound, and the heels, and lift your hips up off of the earth. Keep your ribs and your hip bones like hugging towards one another, so that you're not arching your spine or dropping your bum. And then as you take a deep breath in, just stay and feel a little bit of expansion across your front body. Keep the connection of hip bones to rib bones. And then as you exhale, slowly roll your spine back down towards the ground. We're going to add on, so keep the containment of your front body. And then again, as you inhale, let's lift up the hips, press down into your feet, press down into your heels, big toe, pinky toe, center of the heel evenly. And this time as you rise up your hips, rise up your arms, stretch your fingertips all the way up and overhead. So we're doing a lot of lower back stuff today, but we'll give the upper back and shoulders and chest a little love here. And then as you exhale, slowly reverse the motion, stretch your arms up and overhead. And like if you can consciously roll one backbone down to the ground at a time, we land right back where we started, hands by the side, front body contained, and tail angling up between the kneecaps. Go again as you breathe in, dig into the toes, toe mounds, heels. Lift your hips, lift your arms up. Take a full breath in. You might feel the backs of your legs talking to you by now. And then as you exhale, take your time in these transitions. You roll your spine back down towards the ground. Try to keep the weight in the heels so that your quadriceps aren't taking on all the work. That's the front of your thighs. So arms come down by your sides, bum lands down, and just take a moment to relax. One more time, we'll press down into big toe mound, pinky toe mound, center of the heel. Lift your hips, keep your front body contained as you stretch your arms up and overhead. Take a full breath in. Now keep your hips lifted, and as you exhale, slowly drift your arms back down by your sides. Palms face the earth as you rest your hands. So it's really important, probably most important in this little bit, First, consciously relax your quadriceps, put more weight into your heels, and then shorten the distance between your hip bones and your rib bones again. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, without anything moving, isometrically drag your heels towards the back of your heart. You might lift your hips a little bit higher. And then we'll move on the breath. Keep the containment of your back body and your front body so you don't arch your spine as you let your hips lower down towards the ground as you take a breath in. And then as you exhale, keep the containment of your front body, hip bones towards rib bones, press into your heels and re-lift your hips. So I think the technical term is a glute bridge. And of course, if the glutes aren't doing their job, the lower back is going to take on the brunt of the work. So just keep moving like this. As you inhale, hips drop down. There's that sense of tractioning out the back body as you lower your glutes downwards. And then as you exhale, press into your feet and lift up through your hips. We'll do 3 more. 5 sounds good. So let's go hips down. As you inhale your breath, try not to let your knees quiver in and out. And as you exhale, press down and lift your hips up. 2 more, hips go down. Deep breath in, lengthening your spine on the descent and keeping it long. As you exhale, press down, rise up. I think this is our last one. As you inhale, hips go down, deep breath in. And as you exhale, use the force of your exhalation to lift your hips up. Now stay up, take your inhalation. Do that isometric drag like you're trying to drag your heels to the nape of your neck. Without contracting your lower back, just feel your under butt lift up higher. One more time, soften what you can across your front body. Take a deep inhale breath. And one last time, I pinky swear, heels drag towards the back of your heart. Stay, enjoy, deep breath in. And then slowly as you exhale, one bone from your upper back through your mid back to your lower back, come all the way down to the ground, and then let your feet fall out and let your knees fall in and come back into your breathing. Deep and full and slow belly breaths. Okay. So let your arms just gently fall out by your sides like a very lazy cactus form across your upper body. And keep your knees knocked in towards one another as they are, and let your feet stay wide for this whole thing. And take a full breath in through your nose, fill up your belly, back of your heart, front of your heart, the hollows of your armpits and your collarbones without any strain. And then one full grounding. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, allow your knees to wash over towards the left side of your mat. So knees stay staggered. Keep your gaze straight up towards the ceiling. And then as you inhale, bring your knees back up through the center. Point your kneecaps skyward, soles of the feet on the ground. And as you exhale, go the other way, knees fall over towards the right side. So the most gentle way to invite a little passive internal and external rotation into your hips. Okay, so inhale, come up through center. We'll do a few cycles of this. And as you exhale, over to the left. Good. Center on the inhale, go super slow so your glutes and hips get a massage. And as you exhale, go over to the right. We'll add a layer, so as you inhale, come up through center. And as you exhale, just release your neck, so knees fall to the left and then eyes fall to the left. Come up through center as you breathe in. And as you exhale, knees to the right and lop your head over to the right. Adding on, knees come up, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, knees to the left, eyes to the left, and then squeeze your right butt cheek and press your hips forward towards the left side. So you should feel a little bit more across the top of your right thigh. Come up through center as you inhale your breath. And as you exhale, let your knees fall over towards the right. Look to the right and engage through your left hip, left glute, so the top of your left thigh gets a little bit longer. Good. Come back through center as you inhale. And as you exhale, let your knees fall over towards the left. Squeeze your right butt. Look to the left. Now reach your right arm back behind you. So now you're feeling the lengthening from your right fingertips all the way to like maybe even your right kneecap. Come up through center as you inhale. Knees point up, eyes point up. And as you exhale, follow your knees over towards the right side. Squeeze your left butt and reach your left arm back behind you. You can look over to the right. And then lengthen from left fingertips all the way to the left kneecap. Really engage your left butt. Come up through center as you inhale. Now as you exhale, let your knees wash over towards the left. And then swim your right arm over towards the left so you end up in something like the fetal position, a very lazy, lax fetal position. And then wash yourself back onto your spine, roll your shoulder blades to the earth, point your knees up towards the ceiling, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, again, wash your way over towards the right and roll yourself into the fetal position on the right side. And totally drop your weight when you land there. And then again, as you inhale, point your knees up, roll onto your spine, take a full breath in. With your exhale, roll your way over towards the left and drop. And then roll through center as you inhale onto your shoulder blades, onto your backbone, back of your pelvis, knees point up. And as you exhale, come over towards the right side. It's just a very over-cued, overcomplicated rolling around. So try not to think too much. Just start to feel your muscles press in towards the earth, between the earth and your bones, rolling to the left, coming through center, and rolling to the right, and coming through center. Now, come through center, take your breath in, and then as you exhale, roll over towards the left. Press down into your hands with the least amount of effort and bring yourself all the way upright. And then as you inhale, outstretch your left arm. Come back down onto your left shoulder blade and your right shoulder blade. Point your knees up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, roll over towards the right side. Pressure down into your hands and drag. My one friend says reverse drizzle yourself up. And then as you inhale, come on down. Outstretch your right arm. Come onto your back body. Point your kneecaps up towards the ceiling. Take your breath in, and as you exhale, roll on over towards the left. Drag, reverse drizzle, up towards upright. Knees staggered, legs staggered, and then all the way back down as you take your breath in. Knees point up onto your back body. And one more time. To the right as you exhale, press down, rise up. And inhale back to earth. All the way until your knees point skyward. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, we're coming up to stay to the left. So press down, rise up. So your left shin should be forward. You're going to take your left shin into a 90-degree angle so that your heel aligns with your knee and your knee aligns with your hip. Okay, so we just went through a lot of puddly sweetness, and now we're going to come back into a little bit of strength. So you'll take your hands into fists. I like to wrap the fingers around the thumbs, and then stretch your arms back behind you. Press down into your front shin bone. So from the outer bone of your ankle to the kneecap, press down. You can even pad up if that bony prominence gets a little bit tender on the ground. So you can put a blanket underneath of your ankle. And what I want you to feel is as you press down into your front shin, the outer edge of your left hip starts to engage and ignite and work. So squeeze your fist back behind you. This will keep your chest nice and open. Your back leg is the same as your front leg, a 90-degree angle. Keep your chest lifted, take a full breath in. And then just stay right where you are, squeeze your arm muscles and press your front shin down and towards the ground until you feel the outer edge of your left hip do work. Okay, now as you inhale, lean your weight forward, engage your upper body, but try to keep your neck relaxed. Keep the back of your neck long. You can look into the ground ahead of you. And then as you exhale, press down into your front shin and slowly rise yourself back up. And then make sure that it's the outer edge of your hip that's doing it and not like a tense neck that's doing it. So relax your neck. Come forward again as you inhale. Stay long through the back of your neck. Keep pressing down into your front shin. And as you exhale, root down into your front shin to press back up. It's like a leg press. Relax your neck, relax your jaw, relax your teeth. One more time like that. As you inhale, lean forward, press into your front shin, press into it more. And then as you exhale, root down, press down front shin bone and rise back up. Okay, relax your arms, bring them forward. If you have like a block or a bolster, you can bring it ahead of you and just for a second, puddle in, like go to your maximum. And then swim your arms back behind you, make fists and lift just like a millimeter out of your maximum. Okay, stay long through the back of your neck. Hug your inner thighs towards one another. This should feel like work. Take a deep breath in. And then slowly as you exhale, press down, rise up. Okay, hands come back behind you. We're just gonna wash the knees side to side from sitting. One way, and then the other a couple of times. And then we'll switch sides. So I'll bring my right shin forward and my left shin backwards. And then you have a 90-degree angle, right? From your heel to your knee and from your knee to your hip. So make that so in your front leg. And it's less important that your back leg is doing it, but try again, heel to knee, knee to hip. Square your chest forward, squeeze your fist back behind you, and then lean in until you feel the outer edge of your front hip do work. And then if you don't feel that, press down more into your front shin, more than you think. Take a full inhale here. And then as you exhale, press down. Just bring your mind's eye to the outer edge of your right butt and rise yourself upright. Okay, go again. Leaning forward, stay long through the back of your neck. Keep your neck muscles out of it. Take your inhale. And as you exhale, press down to rise up. One more time. Lean in. Keep your chest lifted. Keep your neck soft. Take a full inhale breath. And then as you exhale, slowly press down and rise yourself up. Okay, and then puddle your way forward. Come on down. You should feel a nice lengthening through the outer edge of your right hip, and we'll stay there in a second. But for now, once you're at your maximum, stretch your fingertips back behind you, squeeze your fists a lot, and lift up 1 millimeter. Lift your belly up off of your thigh so that there's no resting. There's efforting. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, press down and slowly, slowly, slowly rise on up. And hands come back behind you. And we'll just wash the knees side to side to side. Okay. So we'll go back to chill. So bring your left shin forward, right where it was. 90 degrees from heel to knee and knee to hip. Curl your toes back and do the same with your back leg. And then this time we're going to frame out the front foot and the front heel, and I want you to start to draw circles from your sternum bone across your front shin bone, from your knee to your heel and back again. Okay, so as you breathe, inhale calls you forward, exhale moves you back, or really any rhythm of breathing that makes sense as you move, just conscious and connected with the way that you're breathing. So what a lot of these movements that we're taking do is they help us build a relationship with a lot of muscles and a lot of structures that we tend to forget about throughout the day, throughout our lives. Especially if you do a lot of sitting, or you have switched directions of your circles, or if you have like a specific way of moving that just keeps you in like one pattern, even if it's a sport or a yoga practice. So these are all really gentle reminders to your body of all of the things that it has in place to keep it moving really functionally and really thoughtfully. Now come through center, lengthen your chest so you can drag back on your fingertips to reach your sternum bone forward. That's the one right in the center of your chest. Take a breath in. And now as you exhale, start to lean your way forwards. And if this is where you stay and you feel good tension on the outer edge of your left hip, you can stay. I don't want you hanging in any of these poses. So a little bit of integration, a little microdose of that strength that you felt when we were leaning in and pressing up. I want you to keep that. And for most of us, if you turn towards your front foot, your left foot, and then start to crawl in a little bit deeper, you'll probably get some really interesting sensations. If you have a block, it's nice to bring your forearms down to a block, or you can come with forearms onto the earth. You don't need a block. You can use anything that will give you height, like a book or something. And then again, even though we're in a little bit of a sweeter, longer, stretchier way, see if you can call in a little bit of integration, pulling your inner thighs towards one another, dragging your front heel back, dragging your back knee forward. Keep your neck out of it, your jaw, your tongue. Taking a deep and full breath in. And then soften in a little bit heavier as you exhale. All right, slowly bring yourself up. A little switch. So I like to hold on to my back knee pit, bring the leg forward and around, and then hold on to my front knee pit, bring the leg back and around, and then set up those 90-degree angles from heel to knee and knee to hip, and frame out your front foot and your front kneecap, and then just start to stir your way around. And we're not symmetrical usually, so one side might be a little bit more interesting than the other. This is mine. So slow down into the areas that are a little bit more sensational and a little bit more resistant. Because again, usually we start to build tension in muscles that forget their purpose. So either they're working too hard or they're not working hard enough. They're trying to take on the brunt of other muscles' jobs, or they've gotten a little bit lazy and so they're a little bit rough around the edges. Switch directions. Stay really fluid around your shoulders, your neck, your jaw, your eyes, your brain, your thoughts. And just enjoy the spaces that you find that are a little bit stickier, a little bit more interesting. Come through center, elongate, so drag your hip bones back, drag your sternum bone forward, take your breath in, and then take that space down with you as you exhale, leaning forward at your hips. Try not to round yourself forward, really keep the lean, even if that means that you stay up higher. Okay, and then fingertips can crawl forward, maybe a little bit towards the left, or forearms can come down towards the ground. Don't forget to keep that little taste of integration, like you're drawing your inner thighs towards one another. Breathing. Soften shoulders, soften jaw, soften eyes. tongue and root of the tongue, root of the teeth. And the more we can soften across the upper body, the more weight will come down into the hips so that any tension can actually release rather than redistribute into other parts of the body. Our body has a way of doing that, of stashing things into other little nooks and crannies to deal with later. But really right now, consciously direct the energy down. We'll take one more deep breath in. And then let your breath go. All right. Gently bring yourself back upright. And we'll come all the way down onto the back. So if you have extra layers or anything that'll make you feel cozy, we're just going to do one more pose. Come onto your spine. And this pose is called banana asana. Banana is the fancy version. So you'll stretch your legs out long. And just to give a little bit more space to the outer edges of the hips, as well as our hip flexors and psoas. We'll get deeper into those in another class. But also the side body. So of course everything's like really integrated. So we kind of touch on all of these parts surrounding the joint. Today we're talking about the lower back and the hip. So what you'll do is you'll kick your right leg out towards the right so that your heel comes off of your yoga mat. And then bring your left heel over towards the right too. So now your inner ankle bones are touching. And then do the same thing with your upper body. So right arm reaches up and over to the right. So the back of your right hand is on the floor beside your mat. And then walk your upper body over towards the right and reach your left arm up and over to the right. So that now, this is why the name, Banana Asana. If I looked down at you, you'd look like a big banana from your ankles to your fingertips. And then there are ways to make this a little bit sweeter. So if this feels like a good amount of tension up along the left side of your body, across the hip flexor, across the side ribs and the side waist, then you can stay. The next little layer would be to cross your left ankle up and over your right ankle. And just try that on. And you don't have to keep it. So if it feels like good for a sec and then it feels over the next couple breaths like a little too much, you can always change your mind. And then if you'd like a little bit more, everything is checking in. You can wrap your right fingertips around your left wrist. And what I'll remind you of in these poses is that both sit bones, so both butt cheeks and the back bones of your pelvis are grounded, so you're not like rolling into the right side dramatically. And same thing with the upper body, so the bones of your shoulder blades are grounded left and right. So sometimes what else I'll see, I'll just show you what it looks like, is something like this, which I guess, no, it isn't really anything. So come all the way down so that your bum is down onto the ground. And whether you have the clasp of the wrist or the cross of the ankles, try to drop now into the shape. And as you drop into this shape, drop into the current of your breath. And especially in these really yummy side bendy shapes, you get a clear vision of where your tension is held. So I think of the breath tracing its way, even though it's moving simply in and out of my lungs. I think about the breath moving up and down the entire length of my body on the left side, tracing from the top of the ankle all the way to the left fingertips and down again. And for the last few breaths, try to undo your belly. So again, all of the muscles that tend to constrict, whether it's from stress or whether it's from just being told that we should constrict our abdominals for one reason or another. Right now, just like a full permission to get soft and lovely around your belly so that you can notice how the breath shifts. Taking a full breath in and letting a deep breath go. Alright, so before you move a muscle, undo your ankles, undo your wrists, and gently, slowly walk your limbs back through to center. And just take a moment, whether your legs are outstretched or your knees are bent, feet on the floor, just to feel the difference side to side. And then we'll take the other side, so re-straighten your legs, kick your left heel out towards the left, and then meet your left leg with your right leg. And then walk your upper body over towards the left, reach your left arm overhead, and same with the right. And so that you feel this really sweet long stretch up along your right side body, hip crease, lung space. Feel this out for a moment, try it on. And if you'd like a little bit more, you can cross your ankles, so right ankle crosses over left. And if all of that checks out, then you can hold onto your right wrist with your left fingertips. And you can always even walk yourself up and over to the right with legs or feet a little bit more if you have the space. But find a way to not congest the side waist, especially the left one. Find a way not to congest your lower back so there's no deep bend happening in your lumbar spine. We're here cultivating space. Ground your right shoulder blade, ground your right sit bone. Lips are sealed, but the space between your teeth is open. Undo your jaw to the space, like right in front of your earlobes. And invite the breath into the tense spots, the holding spaces up along your right side lung, right side hip, maybe even to the quadricep, the front of the thigh, the ankle. Really wherever it's showing up for you is where it needs to be felt, it's where it needs to be released. Notice if there's any resistance to the force of gravity, like if you're holding yourself up. And then for the last few breaths, consciously soften your belly. And invite your breath here. Long, slow, full breaths in without any force. Long, slow, full breaths out without any force. And let's do one more full breath in. And gently relax, release your breath. Here we'll undo the heels, undo the wrist. Walk yourself back through to center. And then now bend your knees. You can stay here. If it's sensitive when you draw your knees into your chest, what you can do is dig your heels, press your tail down like we did at the beginning of the class, and elongate your lower back by rolling your tailbone forward and in between your kneecaps. If it checks out for you to draw your knees into your chest, then one at a time, draw your kneecaps up in towards your heart. You can hold at the shins or the hamstrings. Press your belly into your thighs via the breath. And slowly release your legs, either with the soles of your feet down to the ground and your knees falling in, or your legs outstretched into Shavasana. And for today's rest pose, I'll invite you to bring your pinkies back to your hip bones. Bring your thumbs back to your lowest ribs. Soften your palms over your belly. Let's meet with a full inhale. And with your exhale, drop the weight of your bones. Soften your muscles and skin around them. Totally succumb to gravity. And allow yourself as much time as you need here to integrate, to recuperate, and to rest.